So the next thing I wanted to talk about today is the issue of cursing in Islam. And the reason I'm interested in talking about this is we were covering this scandal last week about the sort of secret wives of a prolific British Dawa guy. And one thing that's been that I'd never heard before that's been repeatedly used is the term mubahala.
Mm.
And I've never seen a Muslim do this before, but I've heard at least three people, both Mohammed Hijab, his alleged ex-wife, and the guy who's exposing all these things, basically perform these public invocation of cursing that Allah will curse whoever is lying in the situation. Have you come across this before in your life? Is this something that's like actually coming from the Islamic sources, or is this just part of like British Muslim culture? Or what's going on here?
Yeah, it's definitely has its roots in Islam for sure, right? I would say growing up as a Muslim, I have not heard of Mubahala. I mean, I've heard of sources that Muhammad had a Mubahala with Christians in Najran.
Okay, let's recap that story real quick.
Okay. So what happened back in Muhammad's time, there was Christians living in I would say in big numbers, not so much huge, but still a good amount of Christians living in the southern region of Saudi Arabia, modern day Najran, right? That's where they were. And Muhammad wrote to them because when Islam started expanding, Muhammad wrote letters to different kingdoms across or the people and invited them to come to Islam, right? And they simply denied and said, no, we are happy with whatever we are, right? And then there was not negotiation, but it was kind of like back and forth. So they were not agreed on one particular thing, and then Muhammad ordered them to come to Mubahala. Mubahala means let God decide between us who is right and wrong. Let the God curse be on those who are wrong, and then like it's still ambiguous that how God's curse going to come down. Is that like a thunderbolt coming down and killing the person? But Muhammad went in with himself and his Ahl al-Bayt. Ahl al-Bayt means Ali, Fatima, Hassan, Hussein, the people of family. I mean, a lot of people would contradict with the statement of Ahl al-Bayt, but if we look at the true Islamic sources, Ahl al-Bayt means the people of family. So these were the people of family. That's how we say that because Ali, Fatima, Hassan, Hussein were with Muhammad, that makes it family. Right. So those were Ahl al-Bayt. Anyways,
and this is specifically like referenced in the Quran, right?
Yes.
In the third
Surah Al-Imran.
Yeah, in the third surah.
Right.
So this is not from a Muslim perspective, this is not a disputable event as to whether this occurred.
Mm-hmm.
It's just interpreted differently by Sunni and Shia sources.
Yes. I think Shia and Sunni both agree that these were the people there, right? And Muhammad went in with Ahl al-Bayt, and on the Christian side, nobody showed up. Right? Either they were like, we don't care, or they were scared. So, but it's really, really hard for us to sit here and say that either they were like, oh no, this is just a crap, we don't give any sort of concern about it, or whether they were afraid. So it's going to be not based on truth if we project our own.
Not even an inshallah.
So according to Al-Tabri's account of this, they basically agreed to pay taxes to Muhammad, and then they were allowed to return to Najran and live in peace until the time of Omar, and then they were deported from Arabia.
Yes, that's true. That's what happened, and again, Muslims see that as a victory, and again, they should be seeing it as, I don't know, as I said, it will be not right for me to say that this really happened in terms of like a Christians withdraw because they were afraid, or whether they took the route. We don't want to mess with that. You live Lakum dinukum waliya din, Quran's verse that you live your life, we live our life. Let's accept that. So I think that's. But coming back to what Mubahala right now is circulating, is it's not the only time where Mubahala is used. The term Mubahala is used. I think, if I'm not wrong, Ibn Masud also did something similar from Islamic sources. I was reading that he challenged somebody for mubahala. But the argument here is you are invoking something very, very serious. God's curse is not something that you want to mess up with, right? So if you're a believing Muslim, if you believe that God is the creator and he is giving good and bad, and he provides for everything, and so on and so forth, you don't want to invoke curse of God not just upon you but you other person, particularly when you are doing for a Muslim, right? For non-Muslims, it is still, from my personal opinion, I would still do it for non-Muslims too. But again, some Muslims will agree that, okay, it's non-Muslim, you can have God curse on them. But as a Muslim to Muslim, that's a big thing. And so I don't know why this is so much of an issue in this modern day, particularly with Mr. Hijab and his scandal. It's just like two parties trying to put others to worst, just in doing anything they can to prove each other wrong.
So there's another hadith I've heard which would kind of take the contrary position to this, I suppose. Well, maybe it's not the contrary position. Maybe there's a way to harmonize this. But in Al-Tabarani,
okay.
right? And this is classified as a Sahih hadith. Normally, when I cite hadith, I am working very hard to make sure I find a source in Bukhari or Muslim, but this is a popular one, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
I'm meticulous when it comes to controversial hadith. I don't think this one is controversial because it says Qariz ibn Sama reported he was part of a delegation sent to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and it was said, "O Messenger of Allah, pray against the tribe of Amir." The Prophet said, "I was not sent to invoke curses."
Yes, and I would add and supplement to that the title for Muhammad is Rahmatul lil Alameen. Rahmatul lil Alameen is blessing for all nations. That's what progressive Muslims think, and that's what I personally advocate. The problem with Muslim world is they are counting on all the negativities, right, and not seeing a positive side of things. So if Muhammad himself proved him so much of nice, generous, and forgiving. I mean, like the conquest of Makkah, for example, is a big, where he announced a general pardon with ifs and buts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But overall, if you put Muhammad's figure in a container, you will see that a lot of good things coming out of him, and that's why he was so influential figure. So I think the problem is when people use Islam for their own benefits and try to use it to just win worldly gains, that's where they come with these type of stupid things, which is, I won't call it stupid. It is there in Islam, but it is something that you should not be, as you rightly mentioned, that Muhammad said that I am not here for curses, but for blessings. So I think that's that.
So, yeah, so you've kind of got those two instances against each other, but would you say that the event of the Mubahala, where Muhammad and the Christians of Najran meet together, is an exception rather than the rule? Or is the difference that this is a contest between religions here, and he's asking Allah to show him as the one true prophet over the Christians that disagree with him and believe Jesus is God?
See, that thing, okay, what becomes the norm is what is practiced over time, or that has done over 1, 2, 3 times, right? Muhammad never invoked Mubahala with any other, even with Iranians, or Iranians means Zoroastrians, or any other neighboring states or kingdoms. So it was only one time Muhammad did so, right? So I won't call it's the precedence of Islam, but it is there in sources,
Mhm.
right? So
And has been used.
has been used, yes, very rarely.
Okay.
You know, as I said, there is the incident of Sahaba using it,
Mhm.
but after that, as I said, I've grown up. I never heard of Mubahala. Nobody in my circle used Mubahala and says God curse be upon a group of people.
Okay, but I have heard that.
Really,
Not in that terminology. Like growing up, like Turks are all about that. They like they think that the curses are powerful. They have like it's not Islamic. It's like cultural, but even the eye, right? Like the eye that
Mhm.
everyone wears.
Evil eye, yes.
Evil eye is supposed to ward off evil spirits from curses.
Yeah, that's a little different topic. If we have time, we can cover it a little bit just to, I think, kind of wrap this up because a lot of people will be confused with the term "Mashallah"
Mm-hmm.
is commonly used. If you have Muslim friends, you will hear that a lot from them. Inshallah and mashallah. Mashallah is may God protects you from all the evil, right? So I think the idea is there is evil. Lanatullahi al kazibin. May the curse of God upon the liars, right? So there is an element of curse, but invoking curse is different
Like
than
placing a curse.
yes.
Yeah.
Invoking God curse is mubahala.
Right. So the idea of the martial law for the evil eye, right, is not something that people speak out loud. It's something that sort of happens spiritually when somebody like sees something that's beautiful and is kind of resentful around it.
Yeah, mashallah is okay. For example, James is looking very handsome today. I would say there's a difference if I say, James, you're looking handsome, versus mashallah, James, you're looking handsome.
Mhm.
So then the cover of protection of God's grace is upon you,
Uh-huh.
right? I'm talking purely in a Muslim sense, right?
Right.
The mashallah word is particularly for Muslims.
Right.